Hello and welcome to today's podcast episode. Done a lot of knitting this week, not necessarily stuff I can show you because it's for design deadlines for magazines. But it's been a really busy week. This week is my first full week after I came back from Italy, and it's my only full week before I go to Norway. So I'm going to Norway in a week's time, but next week is a short week because we have a bank holiday here on Monday. Then I'm going on Friday, so it's only a 3-day week next week. And I'm panicking slightly about getting all the work done that I need to do before I go to Norway. But I have done a bit of other stuff as well, done a bit of crochet, made some progress. I'm trying to make a decision about what knitting or crochet to take with me to Norway. And I'm going to need your input. So make sure you watch and give me your opinion. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns. I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn through our website, YarnAddict.co.uk. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. So my last video on this channel on Tuesday has been very, very popular. I talk about what to do when your favorite designer or indie dyer lets you down. There's been a few things that's happened recently in the knitting and indie dyeing world, where very popular companies have kind of let us down a bit, or have done and said things that are a bit controversial, or that a lot of people don't like, or just bad business practices. So I talked about that in Tuesday's video. Obviously resonated with a lot of people because a lot of people are watching it. So thank you very much if you're watching that. If you left a comment, as usual, I am behind with YouTube comments. I will try and catch up. I did a video last Sunday on some of the things we did in Italy. So I did a separate video just about some of the stuff we did on Sunday evening. So if you haven't watched that, please do go and watch it. I talk about Naples, Pompeii and Herculaneum. And then this Sunday, I filmed the video. I just haven't had time to edit it yet. So as long as I can get it edited and uploaded, this Sunday there'll be a video on Sorrento, the Amalfi Coast and Amalfi, and the boat trip we did from Salona to Amalfi. So I filmed it, I just haven't edited it yet and uploaded it. So I'm hoping to do that tomorrow. And so I'll be at 6 o'clock this Sunday. So the main thing I've been working on this week is a deadline design. So I have 4 magazine deadlines coming up. I had one earlier this week, which I took with me to Italy, and I finished a couple of days after we got back from Italy. So posted that on Monday and wrote a pattern and everything for that. And then last week I cast on for another design. Unfortunately, this design, they've actually asked for a slightly larger size. So it's 2 sizes bigger than what they normally do, which I'm happy to do. I like the fact that magazines are using slightly bigger models. But obviously it's a lot more work and a lot more knitting, and when I'm on a tight deadline anyway. Now, if I wasn't going away, it wouldn't be a problem. I would have plenty of time. But because I'm going away and because of the other things, it's a bit of a challenge. So I'm doing well with the one I'm working on at the moment. It's worked top down, and I've done the top from the shoulders to the underarm, back and front, and I've done probably about that much on the body. So today I'm going to time myself to see how long it takes me to do one repeat, and then work out how many repeats I need to do for the body, and work out roughly how long that would take me. And then I don't know whether I'm going to do that first or whether I'm going to put the body on hold when I run out of the current ball of yarn I'm on, and then do the sleeves first. Same construction method as the one I knitted while we were in Italy, and with that one I did the top down to the underarm, finished the ball of yarn I was working on the body, and then I put the body on hold and did the sleeves, and then I went back and finished the body. So I might do the same thing, because I can always adjust the length of the body slightly if I run out of time. I do need to finish it before I go to Norway, because when I come back from Norway I have yarn sitting here for another design, which I would like to, over this long weekend that we have coming up, knit a swatch so I can write the pattern for it next week, or the draft pattern. So when I get back from Norway, I can cast on the day after I come back. Or preferably, if I finish the one I'm working at the moment, I can cast on before I go to Norway. But we'll see. But I can't show you any of that because It's magazine, so it's top secret. But I have also been doing quite a lot of crocheting. So let me show you first. These are the crochet star flowers I worked on in Italy. I haven't done any more for this size. So I'm working on, so I've designed this crochet star flower shape, and I'm working on, I'm using 2 yarn advents, one in DK and one in 4-ply. This is the sparkly sock yarn. This advent is from Cool Woolings from 2024. Now, I know last year there were problems with her advent. A lot of people didn't get their advent, and those who did got it late, from what I understand. I don't know whether anyone got it on time, but I've heard some people got it late and they didn't feel like it followed the theme that they were expecting, from what I read online. I know some people ordered it and they didn't get it at all, and had to claim the money back. And that also caused some problem. And Cool Woolings have actually now announced that they're closing down their business. So don't know what's happening. If it's some kind of tragic life event, then I'm really sorry to hear that. That's really sad. But also, I think it just underlines how important it is to communicate with your customers when you take pre-orders for high ticket items, or any pre-orders really. If you can't fulfill them, you need to communicate that to your customers as soon as possible and offer them a solution. And this is the problem with yarn advents, is if you order them a long time in advance, it can be difficult to get your money back. So just be aware of that. I haven't ordered any yarn advents this year yet. I might still get one. I haven't decided, because I have this one I haven't worked. I have the other one I'm going to talk about in a minute. They were both from 2024. I have one from 2025 hanging on the wall behind the camera. And I have a fibre one that I got also 2024, I think, that I haven't done very much with yet. So, and I have one from a few years ago, like 2023 maybe, 2022. I can't remember, which I also haven't done anything with. So I need to at least get 2 or 3 of these. So basically I got 2 yarn advents that I haven't touched and 2 that I'm currently working on. So if I can get the 2 I'm working on finished plus one of the other ones, I might decide to treat myself this year. If not, I won't. Just because I can't have all this stuff sitting here, especially because hopefully by the end of this year we'll have this house on the market. Anyway, with the 4-ply, so I had 20 gram mini skeins. I can get 11 of each of the 20 gram mini skeins. Of the DK, my DK one is 2024, the Discreet Unicorn. She no longer dyes yarn. So I'm glad I got this. Again, it's a sparkly DK yarn. It's the same star flower, but obviously because it's DK, I'm using a bigger hook. So these flowers, from point to the point opposite, they're 10 centimeters when I block them out. These smaller ones are 7. So I'm doing these on 4mm and the smaller ones on 3.5. So they're not ending up massively smaller. Now with this advent, I'd already knitted a tote bag in the stranded colourwork called the Pastel Tote. I'll pop a picture on the screen so you can see what it looks like. And I'd used, I think, 3 to 5 grams of each colour. Varies a little bit. So from what I have left, I can get 3 flowers. If I'd had the full 20 gram skeins, I would have been able to get 4, possibly 5, but probably 4, possibly 5, I'm not sure. So I'm getting over, so say if I can get 5, I'm getting 11 of the 20 gram 4-ply, and the 4-ply one's going a lot further. Anyway, I put all the ones I've made already. Before I strung them on here yesterday, I actually laid them out on my dining room table and took a picture of them. I just laid them out, not in the colour order I would join them in. I just want to see if I've done the points, because my plan is to like join the points together, and I just want to see if I'd actually done it in a way where I could join the points together. So I just laid them out roughly in a kind of point-to-point kind of method. But it's not in the order they'll be in, because I want to wait till I've got all of them and then decide. So since last week, I have crocheted up 2 more mini skeins. So this green one, I've got 3. And then this pink one, I also have 3. Or pink, probably more pinky orange. So this can also be added to this one in a minute, and then I'm going to hang that up on my wall. I decided this was probably the best way to store it. So I've actually done 12 colors now of this, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 12 colors of this. And I think, I can't remember whether it was a 24-day Advent or whether it was 25 days. I think maybe it was 25 days, even though Advent should really be 24 days. But anyway, so I'm halfway, which is quite good. Takes me about 10 minutes to do one flower, so I can do the 3 flowers in 30 minutes plus 5 minutes or so to weave in the ends and then block them. So I'm going to try this week to do one color each evening, but my priority has to be my deadline project because I have to get that finished. So that's my priority. But if I can get my daily goal that I set myself for my deadline knitting done, then I can do one of those each evening. And then I still won't get it done before I go to Norway. Hang on, how many days till I go? Today's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 8 days. So if I do 2 on a couple of days, maybe I can get it done. Problem is, because this weekend is a long weekend, and I thought it was just going to be me and Simon this weekend, and we probably wouldn't be doing much if the weather's good, which apparently it's supposed to be, although it's been miserable all week. If the weather's good, Cornwall tends to get quite busy because it's also the start of summer half term here. So it can get quite busy in Cornwall this time of year. So I thought we'd probably just end up having a quiet weekend at home, maybe go out one of the days and do something. But my daughter, one of my daughters, is now coming home, so we'll probably try and go out and do something every day. I also want to go to the gym a couple of times over the long weekend. So that means I'll have less time to actually knit. So on each day, the time I do have to knit, I've got to prioritize the deadline sweater because I've got to get that finished. So if I can meet that daily target each day, I will work on my crochet stars flowers. I've been thinking a lot as I came back from Italy about what I'm taking to Norway with me. A couple of years ago, I crocheted this raffia tote bag. I'll pop a picture on the screen. I never wrote the pattern up. And the notes I have for it are very, very sketchy. My plan was last year to make another one and actually do the pattern properly, and then I just never got around to it. And the reason for that is that I've been struggling to find a raffia yarn that I like that is not ridiculously expensive. So the one I made a couple of years ago, which I really, really like, is this raffia from King Cole. They do a couple other colors, but the only color I like is this one. I don't want to do another one in the same yarn. It's slightly variegated. I've been looking at other raffia yarns, and some of them are very expensive and very short meterage or not very many meters for the amount of money you're paying. When I was in Norway last time in February, March, I went to some yarn shops in Oslo. One of them was Garntopia, and they had several different raffia yarns there that felt like they were quite reasonably priced. They had one in a really nice pink, bright pink color. But the problem is they come on cones, so I can't really buy them and take home with me because I travel with a backpack only because I have clothes in Norway. So I was thinking I can order it next time I go to Norway and then make it while I'm there. Prada actually does a crochet raffia bag, which is like £1,000, and it's quite simple. And I fancy doing something similar to that because looks quite simple. I wouldn't make it exactly the same, but something similar. And there are still a lot of crochet raffia bags in the shops at the moment. I'm a bit reluctant to buy them. I mean, I couldn't justify spending £1,000 on a crochet raffia bag at Prada anyway. But probably that is, if you're making somebody hand crochet them, as long as they are being paid fairly, that's probably is close to where you should charge for it. I think what other shops are charging, like £20-30, is way too little, especially when you think about what the markup is. But I also do wonder whether the people who crochet the bags for Prada get paid any more than the ones that crochet for the regular high street shops. You think Prada would pay their contract workers or their crocheters more, but I'm not convinced they necessarily do, because there are some shade practices with some of these designer houses. I'm not saying with Prada, but there was a thing a couple of years ago in Italy with one of the fashion houses where they were done for using like slave labor and unsafe working practices. Can't remember which company it was now, but it was a big thing at the time. So I would prefer, if I'm going to have a crochet raffia bag, to make my own. And I have the skills to make my own. So if I have time over the next week, I might do a little swatch in this and work out how much I need. If I order that yarn in Norway, I would need to make it while I'm in Norway, because I can bring the bag back with me, but I can't bring, and this is wound around like a cardboard tube, but the other ones are on actual cones that are probably like the height of my water bottle, and I can't fit that in my backpack for coming home. So that's one thing I've been thinking about. And then also last year, sometime for one of my trips, I wound this yarn, which is Manos Uruguay Fino, to do a shawl. And it's still sitting and I haven't done anything with it. So I could take that. I could easily get that finished in the 2 weeks I'm there. I'm going to take my Truly Hooked Formula One collection Lando's helmet socks. I haven't done any on them since last week, so I didn't bring them upstairs, but I've done the toe of the first sock. I'm going to take those with me and work on them on like my travel day and out and about and that kind of stuff. But I need something to work on at my parents', and for a while now I've been wanting to crochet a lightweight summer garment. There's something very, very light and lacy that I can wear over t-shirts or dresses on days when it's a little bit chilly. So for example, if it's going to be a fairly warm day and I'm wearing like a sleeveless top or a sleeveless dress or a t-shirt or something like that, and I want to walk the dog in the morning, because if it's hot during the day, I sometimes try and walk him a bit earlier. Normally I walk him about just before 10 o'clock, but in the summer sometimes I'll try and walk him at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I want to do like a very lacy, lightweight garment that I could wear, you know, if I'm going out early in the morning or in the evening if it's a bit chilly, but also layer over like long sleeve tops and stuff in the winter. And I was thinking cotton would probably be best, because wool does add a lot more warmth than cotton does. Now, my daughter was home at the end of April, the weekend before we went to Italy, and she is crocheting with Paintbox cotton 4-ply. I think Paintbox is owned by Love Crafts. I've never used it. And normally I would be a bit not ordering from Paintbox or from Love Crafts, because I'm a bit of a yarn snob. Also, I'm very aware as a knitwear designer and teacher who teaches in a lot of yarn shops that the big online companies like Love Crafts and similar ones, they're owned by private equity firms. They're not owned by people in the yarn industry, and they are really damaging yarn shops, in my opinion. Having said that, Paintbox, Emily showed me the yarn she was working with, and it was Paintbox cotton 4-ply. Feels really, really nice, and at the moment it's £2.10 for 50 grams. That's incredibly cheap. Let me just show you the color I'm looking at. Emily is using this color, which is a purple color, which is beautiful in person. Really, really like it in person. Now they also do this really bright pink, but obviously when you look at colors on screen, you think, oh, do they actually look like that in person? And I am worried that it's either going to be perfect and I'm going to love it, or it's going to be just a slightly wrong shade of neon pink. They do some other nice colors as well. They do like a sort of pale dusky pink, which I quite like, but I feel like brighter colors look better on me. So I did, and they do this one, but again, I'm worried it's going to be a bit too burgundy. Anyway, I asked Emily, I said, do you mind if I get the same yarn as you? And she said no. So that's the one I'm thinking about going for. So it's £2.10 for 50 grams, which is so cheap. So I've done a couple of swatches. So I've been thinking long and hard about what stitch pattern to use, because I wanted to be very lacy, and I've swatched a filet crochet pattern, and I swatched it in this yarn. Now I don't know, it's fairly open. I need to put it on like a solid background for you to see it better. Let's use this piece of paper. Oh, there, you can see it better there. You can see it's got these little filled in squares. So this is crocheted in Rowan Summerlight 4-ply, because I have some in my stash from Magazine Designs, which is also 100% cotton. I could use this one. I've worked with Rowan Summer Light a lot before, and I really like it, but I haven't looked at the price, but I imagine it's a lot more expensive than Paintbox 4-ply cotton. So I've used it. I just want to do a swatch in cotton, and then I also did a swatch in YarnAddict Organic Trio, which looks like that. And I may not go for that stitch pattern. I may change it slightly. I haven't decided yet, but I want it fairly open. And as I'm doing filet crochet workshops at the moment, I thought doing a filet sweater was a good idea. Just want a very simple, boxy, open garment. Now, my only problem is I'm trying to get through some of my yarn stash this year before we move house. I have a few sweater quantities. So I have enough of this yarn, which is the YarnAddict Organic Trio in this colorway, in my online shop to make a garment. I've used that yarn for 2 crochet garments before. I'll pop the pictures on the screen. I did a purple and pink one first, and that weighed, I think, about 450 grams. Yeah, 450 grams. And then I did it again where I changed the pattern just slightly to make it a bit lighter, and that used 350 grams. I think that was lilac and grey, this grey and a lilac. Now, if I had some left of the pink or the lilac, although I've done another crochet sweater last year in the lilac, but if I had some left of the pale pink, I would probably use that because I really, really like it. But the only colour I have enough for a sweater amount is the grey. I have a whole pack of them. Now, it's in my online shop, so really it's for sale. It's not for my personal use, but it's also been there for a long time. And even though I really like this yarn, it's not very popular. So, I'm thinking about using that because I already have it. Or I could I probably need about 10 balls, maybe 12 balls, just to be on the safe side of the Paintbox 4-ply. So we're talking 25 grams if I get 12. I also have this yarn from Pixie Yarns. It's called Allis. I think there was a special colorway she did for, what's it called, Stitch Fest in Newton Abbot. Probably like 3 years ago or something. I don't know. But I bought one at the show, and then I ordered 3 more online later. So I got 4 of these. Now, based on these 2 swatches, with this swatch, which is 100% cotton, I would need it. My spreadsheet says I would need 500 grams, which I think is a bit over calculated. With this one, it says I would need 400 grams. So I reckon 400 grams will probably be enough. Now, this is wool, cotton, silk. Very, very light, but because it does have wool in it, it is a little bit warmer. This is 100% cotton, and Paintbox 4-ply is 100% cotton. The thing with wool is that it is warmer than cotton. If you made the same garment in wool and in cotton, the wool one would feel warmer. Now, obviously, our summers are fairly short, and I want a garment I can wear all year round. And if I make it in a wool yarn, I can probably wear it in the winter more than I would if I do cotton. So I don't know what to do. Do I order the Paintbox cotton 4-ply? Do I use this yarn? Like, this color goes with everything in my wardrobe, but it's a bit boring. Although I do like grey, but it's a bit boring. This is beautiful colorway, and it goes with a lot of my stuff. I really like this, and it's been sitting around in my stash now for probably like 2.5 years. So I could probably do using it, and it would probably be enough. And then I also have this color, which is a bit more summery, which is Symphony Terra in Neon Confetti, which I ordered a few months ago at wholesale. I also have 4 of those. I'm a bit worried this is going to be a bit too light and more likely to get dirty. I don't like washing hand knitted and crocheted items too often, because I tend to hand wash them, even though this say can be machine washed on a gentle cycle, but I tend to hand wash them. So do I do the Terra? Do I do the Pixie Yarn? Do I do the Organic Trio? Or do I do the Paintbox? Because it's so cheap, so why not? I don't know. If I'm going to do the Paintbox, I probably need to order it today. This is what the Organic Trio looks like. I do like that. I'm also a bit worried about actually have room for this in my backpack. I feel like I should use something I have rather than ordering more, but also that Paintbox yarn is so cheap. Out of colors, this is probably my favorite. So maybe I should not do it in cotton and just do it in this. This would be easier to pack, because if I wound one skein before I left and pack the others like this, then I would have to wind them by hand in Norway. They can squeeze into the space in my backpack a bit easier, whereas these squish down less, so they're a bit more tricky to pack. The paint box one will come in this kind of skein, which is also quite squishy. So tell me in the comments, what would you do? Would you get the raffia and do a crochet bag, which probably wouldn't be enough to last the whole day? Would you do the Fino and do a neutral design, which I probably should do, because I could do with that, doing something. I don't have any self-published patterns due to come out anytime soon. Would you do Pixie Yarn, the Terra, the Organic Trio, or would you take the mini skeins and do a bunch of these? I'm worried if I do these, I'm going to get bored with it. Then I could get bored with the other crochet as well. I don't know. Tell me what you would do, please, because I cannot make up my mind. And I need to, if I'm going to get the paint box, I need to order it so it gets in before I leave. So tell me what you would do. Anyway, I got to go, because I've got to go and have my eyebrows waxed and tinted. So I'm ready for my trip to Norway. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Sorry, not much knitting or any knitting content really, or no knitting content I can show you anyway in this video. Sorry about that. If you didn't watch Tuesday's video, do go and check it out, and check out Sunday's video from Pompeii, Herculaneum and Naples, and look out for Sunday's video this Sunday on Sorrento, Amalfi Coast and Amalfi. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.